Hello, welcome. My name is Fiston Biquinano, uh, candidates for bachelor's degree in business management and international student from Atlantic International University, AIU. I'm very happy to present you in this new course entitled Business Statistics today. So, welcome to the presentation as we are going to go through these different points in this presentation. I call you for your attention. Uh, the presentation is going to be about different points as indicated in the table of contents. We have 11 different points. Sorry. The first one is about introduction, followed by number two about definition of a key terms. Number three is going to be about the types of statistics, followed by number four about statistics applications. Five about data collection method, and the number six will be about data measurement. Followed by number seven, where we speak about data sources. Number eight, statistics in business. Number nine, statistical analysis. Number 10, types of statistical method, and the last number 12, it will be about conclusion. First, introduction. Decision making can be seen as the engine for running business. Entrepreneurs have always been concerned about making right business decisions. The saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained, might be the source of motivation for lots of entrepreneurs, but this should not be the reason for making careless decisions. Deciding means making a choice after thinking carefully about several possibilities. Doubts always look dominant when it comes to choosing what is right. As an entrepreneur, you need to obtain the right information to make it easier for you to decide correctly for your business. This is where business statistics comes in. Let's speak about number two, definition. Let us look at the definition of the keywords to understand the language of statisticians before going forward. Statistics. Statistics is a mathematical process resulting in method for gathering, analyzing, and representing experienced data based on a skilled judgment. The reason statistics is called mathematical process is because utilizes, mainly mathematical or mathematics symbols, formula, and principles as the basis for inference in the induction in a series of its operations. Besides, statistical processes are getting easier nowadays thanks to computer tools. Thus, statistics is a mathematical and a computational process with method for gathering, analyzing, and presenting data based on experience and skilled judgment. Data. Data is the backbone of statistics studies. Then, what is it? What is data? Data is information, especially facts or numbers collected to be examined and considered to help decision making, or information in an electronic form that can be stored and processed by a computer as per Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, third edition. Data can be found in two classes, quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative data is the one that can be counted or compared using numeric scale. Um, Quantitative data measure either how many or how much of something. Qualitative data is all about qualities or characteristics, providing labels, names, categories of items. Measuring and analyzing qualitative data with precision is not that easy due to its form of a descriptive word that needs to be examined according to the meaning of a code. Example, uh, a study is conducted about the following characteristics: age, gender, marital status, and annual income for a sample of 100 individuals. The characters mentioned above are called variables, and the values of the data for each variable is to be connected to each individual. So the following data values of a 30 female married and $45,000 can probably be captured like 30-year-old married female with the annual income of $45,000. Sorry. 100 individuals in and the four variables will give the data set of 100 times the 4 that gives 400 items. Thus, age and annual income are quantitative variables indicating how many years and how much money for each individual. Gender and marital status are qualitative variables. The labels male and female provide the qualitative data for gender and the labels single, married, divorced, and widowed indicated marital status. Individual or population. Individual can be defined as the interested person, object, subject, or item of a statistical study. Population is then seen as a group of people being subject of statistical research or a set of objects. Thus, population can be whatever that a researcher is trying to study. Sample. Sample can be a group of people or things chosen out of a large number and is a question or tested to get information about the large or the larger group. A sample is also said to be a representative portion of the whole taken by researchers when conducting statistical studies. Um, census is defined as a count for official purposes to know the number of people living in a country and the collect information about them. Census is also seen as the process of gathering data from the whole population of interest. Point F, inference. What is inference about in statistics? Inference is all about guessing what something is true. That something is true and forming an opinion based on the information that you have. For instance, it has always been assumed that female students are stronger in mathematics than men. How to say it? You can take a sample representing both a female and a male and a man and analyzing mathematical values that will lead you or lead to a conclusion about the assumption mentioned above. The last point is about definition of induction. Induction is defined as a way of getting a general law by utilizing lots of individual observations. For instance, or for example, Peter is a model, Ted is a model, Paul is a model, and all of them are men. Therefore, all men are model. Having spoken of definitions, etc., let us now look at the point of three types of statistics. Statistics are subdivided in two main types: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics is the type of statistics with data gathered to describe the group of individuals from where the data have been collected to attain conclusions of the same group. The descriptive statistics are also referred to as a summaries of data that can be tabular, graphical, or numerical, presented in an easy and understandable form. A lot of business statistical data are descriptive. Inferential statistics. This type of statistics uses the data collected from a sample and utilizes the generated statistics to attain conclusions over the whole population where the sample was taken from. This type of statistics is sometimes referred to as inductive statistics. Some organizations can prefer conducting researches utilizing inferential statistics due to time and money limitations, such as a pharmaceutical research where tests of new drugs can be limited to small, randomly selected samples of patients, then each conclusions uh, uh, making inferences on the entire population. Point 4. Statistics applications. Statistics are generally used in a business and economics environment. Let us look at some vital applications of statistics below. Accounting. Statistical sampling procedures are commonly used by public accounting companies for conducting audits of their clients. The auditor or auditors reach the conclusion after having reviewed the accuracy of the sample selected. In finance, statistical information are used to guide financial analysts in their investment recommendations. In marketing, statistical information are very vital in marketing studies as they help in formulating policies regarding price, sales, promotion, services, and distribution. Statistical data can also allow the company to make proper policies about personnel requirements and so on. In production, statistical information helps in monitoring the production process while keeping the control of the production quality. In economics, economists use statistical data to predict some future aspects of the economy, such as forecasting uh, inflation rate, the unemployment rate, etc. Let's speak about point 5 data collection method. It is worth it to adopt a proper method for collecting data, seeing the importance of its utility. Correct adoption of a data collection leads to an accurate and a satisfactory result in statistics. Here are the 6 most important methods for an effective data collection. The first is interviews. Second, questionnaires and surveys. Third, observations, followed by number 4, documenting the records. 5, focus, focus products, sorry, groups, I'm sorry. And the last, oral histories. Getting this method detailed, we should the first thing keep in mind that some method can be used either for quantitative or qualitative data collection. The quantitative data collection method deals with the countable data. Questionnaires, surveys, documents, and the records are the quantitative data collection method. The qualitative data collection method considers the factors differently from the numerical values. Interviews, focus groups, observations, and oral histories are the qualitative data collection method. The decision of making statistical researches or studies should either base on one of the mentioned methods or both of them depending on the subject of your research. The expressions like how much or how many are mainly used in the quantitative data collection method, whereas the qualitative data collection method starts the questions with why. So the choice of a data collection method helps much and make it easier as long as you identify your subject of research properly. Point six, data measurement. A large number of data are being collected in the businesses daily and are representing millions of subjects such as dollar cost or produced items, locations of a retail outlet, shipment weight, and the levels or rankings of employees in annually reviews. The analysis of all such a statistical data cannot be done the same way so long as they are not from the same entities. This is the reason for a business researcher to know the level of data measurement for the data which are being analyzed. There are four levels of data measurement commonly used as follows: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Let's start by nominal. This is the lowest of a data level measurement. As an example, the following question ends up to a nominal data. Which of the following employment classifications describes your area of work? Number one, educator. Number two, lawyer. Number three, doctor. Number four, other. All numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 assigned to the employment classifications above are only used to classify responses, and they they do not denote top classification, but just differentiating educator from lawyer and etc. Nominal level data often come from other types of variables such as sex, religion, ethnicity, geographic location, place of birth, and so on. Extra examples of nominal data are telephone numbers, zip code numbers, ID numbers, and the social security numbers. Ordinal level. This is higher than nominal level. It can be used to order or to determine the rank or position of object. Here, each number determines the position denoting top classification when measuring statistical data. For example, a restaurant survey with the questions designed as follows. First, poor. Second, satisfied. Third, good. Fourth, very good. Fifth and the last, excellent. Interval level. This is the following to the highest level of data where distances between consecutive numbers are meaningful with the numerical data, and that the distances or intervals between consecutive numbers are equal. For instance, the interval measurement with Fahrenheit degrees. Temperature numbers ranked in the amount of a heat reading consecutively like 20 degrees, 21 degrees, and 22 degrees are the same. Ratio level. This data measurement has the same properties like interval data, but the ratio data have an absolute zero, and the ratio of two numbers has a meaning. Absolute zero represents the absence of a characteristic that is being studied. Height, weight, time, volume, and the Kelvin temperature are the examples of ratio data. Number seven, sources, data sources. Seeing the importance of data in a daily decision-making process, the question arises of knowing where to get data from. Data can be gotten from different sources as follows. Existing sources. Some data already exist for specific application. Let's consider the case of companies that maintain um, different types of database within the organization about their their employees, suppliers, clients, customers, operations, etc. Once in need of data like employee salaries, ages, gender, or 6 years of experience, you can get them internally from the personnel record. Some records related to sales data, diverse expenditures, production, quantities, etc., can still be found internally. Some organizations specialize in collecting and maintaining data. They make data available for everyone to obtain from them either through leasing or by purchasing. Uh, One can hardly deny the way the internet is growing as an available source of data and statistical information for everyone, as almost all companies keep on having websites providing general information about them, the number of their employees, about the specifications of their products, about product prices. Government agencies are also an available source of data. For example, DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, National Social Security Fund from the Labor Ministry maintains data on employment rate, wage rate, size of labor force, etc. Most of the data are collected and processed by government agencies, and the results are available through a website. Statistics studies. Some data can be needed for a particular usage, but they can be unavailable at a given time. In such a case, the only way of getting data is by conducting a statistics studies. Statistics studies can be either experimental or observational. The variable of interest needs to be identified prior to conducting an experimental study. For instance, conducting an experiment, I mean, to know how a new pharmaceutical drug can affect blood pressure. So the variable of interest is the blood pressure in this experimental statistics study. I'm sorry. So the variable of interest is the blood pressure in this experimental statistics study. Observational statistics study is also called non-experimental statistics study. The most common type of observational study is a survey. Research questions are identified before a personal interview survey is done and lead to designing a questionnaire to be given to a sample of individuals. For example, to obtain data about customer opinions on the quality of the food or quality of service, some restaurants use observational studies. Sorry, choosing data and statistical analysis mean has aid to the decision making is very crucial, but you should be aware of their timely and monetary cost implication. Thus, it is desirable to use existing data sources when the need of obtaining statistical data is in a very short time and with a limited monetary cost. An additional time and a money cost must be taken into account in case of unavailability of relevant data from existing sources. Anyway, the cost of data acquisition and statistical analysis must not be over the savings generated by utilizing the information in making a better decision. Data acquisition errors. It is very important for you as a manager to be aware of the possibility of errors in data statistical studies. Data acquisition error occurs when the data values obtained are wrong or different than the expected ones as per the correct procedures. This can either come from the interviewer, such as transposing the age number 24 into 42 years old, or providing wrong response due to a bad interpretation of the question by the interviewee. Data acquisition errors, as continued, for fear of obtaining erroneous data that might come from both of the data sources, it is vital to make sure that accurate steps are followed by a skilled statistician for getting reliable and valuable decision-making information. Number 8, statistics in a business. The application of statistics in business is limitless. Statistics plays a pivotal role in a business management. Managers with a proper skill to implement a statistical method will be able to increase the production capacity in any levels such as efficient work management, employee performance, limits of resource wastages, and so on. Statistics data can help managers in a different ways below. Predict the future of the business or specific department. The time has passed by for making a decision out of past experience or past similar circumstance. Nowadays, any decision needs to be made based on concrete empirical data. Judgment support. Decision made out of the empirical data is always very convincing, and managers look very assertive when they have a true information in the hand. In that, so it has become more and more unavoidable today for businesses to function without using statistics and statistical tools. No matter the size of a business, small or big, they all use statistics in daily basis. Microsoft Excel is commonly used in organizations to store, organize, and represent data. This is a typical example of the use of statistical tools in business. Number 9, statistical analysis. Statistical analysis is about data collection, interpretation, and representation while giving significance to irrelevant collected data. Statistical analysis is also seen as the process of consolidating and analyzing different samples of data to anticipate future trends by making appropriate decisions. Statistical analysis has a distinct types depending upon data types mm, as well. I mean, such as descriptive statistical analysis. This is used to describe data features and show the summary of data in the form of a tables, charts, or graphs. Inferential statistical analysis. It is used to show the relationships among variables data, then make predictions and the conclusions about the general or the whole population. Number 3, predictive analysis. This helps in implementing approaches like statistical techniques or um, machine learning to define the likelihood of a future result, behaviors in the trends based on recent data. Number 4, pres, uh, prescriptive analysis. This is seen as the systematic study to examine data for getting an answer of what should be done to come up with an optimal suggestion in the process of decision making. Number 5, exploratory data analysis. This is used to preview data in order to get key insight to fully focus on analyzing patterns in the data to recognize the potential relationships. Number six, causal analysis. This helps you to understand and determine the reasons why things occur or why things are the way they are or appear. Number seven, mechanistic analysis. This is the least common type among all statistical analysis mentioned above. It is used in the process of big data analytics and biological science. It is also used to understand and explain how things happen, such as when studying and inspecting the way various parts of of a virus are affected by changing in medicine. Number 10, types of a statistical method. Proper analysis is required to provide answer to typical statistical questions. A good random sample must be collected from the population of interest. Thus, descriptive statistics need to be used to organize and summarize the sample data. Then, the next step is inferential statistics that helps in sample statistics and extend the result to whole population while measuring the correctness of the result. Let us have a look on different types of statistical methods below. Descriptive measures. These are also called parameters in they are written in Greek letters as follows. Population mean is written with that sign, red mu. And the population variance is written with that sign squared, red sigma squared. And the population standard deviation is written with the sign, especially sigma. Descriptive measures of samples are called statistics, and they are written in Roman letters. Like the sample means the sample mean is read x bar, and the sample variance is s squared, and the sample standard deviation is s. Sample statistics are used to estimate population parameters which are not known. Measures of a center. They are used to identify the center and the spread of the data. One is mean. This is often called the average, and it is calculated by adding all the values and dividing by the total number of values. The equations below computes the population mean with a mu and a sample S bar, sorry, X bar. So the formulas have been given here. Mu equals the sum of X divided by N, and X bar equals sum of X divided by small n. So Xi is an element in the data set. The big N or capital N is the number of elements in the population, whereas small n is the number of elements in the sample data set. Example, determine the mean of the following sample data set: 5.3, 6.9, 8.2, 7.6. So X bar after calculations is 7. Median. This is the middle value of the data set once sorted in order from the least to the greatest. it split the data into equal halves, 50% below the median and 50% above. So that is represented with this, um, pattern. There we have a 24, we have a 28, 32, 36, 37, 39, 41, 46, and a 51. So the median is in a 37. The median is calculated depending on the number of observations in the data set. Mode. It is the most frequently happening value, and it is used with qualitative data as the values are categorical. Categorical data can't be added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. So the mean and the median are not possible. This is a less commonly used quantitative data is sorry yeah as a measure of a center. Measures of a dispersion. Uh, these measures deal with the spread or variation of data differently to measures of a center that look at the average or middle values of a data set. Variation is all about the amount that the values vary among themselves. Measures of variation are lower if values are closer to each other in a data set, and the measures of variation are higher if values are spread farther apart. So measures of a dispersion deal with five measures: range, variance, standard deviation, standard error, and the coefficient of the variation. Let's speak about range. This is the largest value minus the smallest value. It is the simplest measure, and it only uses the two values in a quantitative data set. For example, for the given data set 13, 27, 33, 35, 39, 46, 58. The range is 58 minus 13, that gives 45. Variance. This utilizes the difference between each value and its arithmetic mean. The differences are squared for dealing with the positive and negative differences. The sample variance is written as squared, and the population variance is written sigma squared, with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. Population, so the formula has been given, or formulas have been given. Population variance, sigma squared equals sum of x minus mu, all of them squared, divided by n. And sample variance is given with the formula of s squared equals sum of x minus x bar, all squared, and all of them divided by n minus 1, and it leads to the formula like sum over x squared minus sum of x, all of them squared, divided by n, and the whole divided by n minus 1. Example, calculate variance of the sample data 3, 5, and 7. 5 is the sample mean. So s squared gives, after calculation, gives 4. So standard deviation, this is the square root of the variance for both the population and the sample. The standard deviation is written as sigma, and the sample standard deviation is written as population standard. We respond with the formula of a sigma equals the square root of a sigma squared. And sample standard deviation gives respond with this, the formula over S equals square root over S squared. The following example, calculate the, the standard deviation of the sample data 357. Again, 5 is the sample mean. So S, after all the calculations, gives a square root of 4 and it gives 2. Standard error. This is the standard deviation of the sample means and is expressed in different ways. It uses the formula below. So S with the x bar equals square root of x squared divided by n, and all that gives s divided by square root of n. Coefficient of a variation. It expresses the standard deviation as a percentage of the sample or population mean. Comparing standard deviations between the different populations of samples is difficult as the standard deviation depends upon units of measure. Population data. So coefficients of a variation gives the structure, the formula, like a mu divided by, sigma divided by mu or times 100. And the sample data gives the formula with the coefficient of variation gives S divided by X bar, all of them multiplied by 100. So these are all that we have been trying to present. Now let us speak about the very last point, that is about conclusion. As a conclusion, we say considering everything that has been mentioned above, we realize that making a successful decision requires enough skills on data utility. Seeing the importance of utilizing data in decision making in different levels in the organization, nothing should be done carelessly, starting from data collection up to data analysis. The right way of doing this is through a proper statistical study. The statistics is a very efficient tool to limit the dominance of doubts in the decision-making process, as it facilitates business people, managers, or any decision makers to reach conclusions basing on verified and experienced information. Business statistics plays a crucial role in the organization as it gives a significance to collected data. The knowledge of the types of statistical data makes it easier for you to adopt the appropriate way of handling statistical information to reach effective conclusions. Some statistical data exist already in a different levels, and you only have to get access to them to facilitate you in decision making once in need, such as in some companies, institutions, governmental agencies, on the internet, etc. However, some other statistical data do not exist. You need to plan and organize statistical studies or research if need be. Ultimately, all informed business people should be able to implement statistics in all decision-making processes to make a right choice of the information from a skilled judgment in order to run their business successfully. So that was all for, from my presentation. As I told you, my name is Fiston. I'm very happy that you have listened to me carefully. So this is the end that was presented by Fiston Bequinano. I say many thanks.